Hello and welcome to another episode of Authentic Leader TV. I am your host here, Amber Ludwig, and today we are going to dive into a topic that is absolutely critical for your success in building your business online. And that is the topic of collaboration, strategic partnerships, and power networking. Now, when I first started my business, let me even back up. When I was a teenager, I was deathly afraid of talking to people. No joke, I had no confidence. I was very insecure. I was introverted. Asking me to stand in front of the classroom even and give some sort of presentation, it was torture for me. I just couldn't even handle it really. And I was lucky enough in my late teens, my early 20s to get into a position selling Cutco cutlery, which is high-end kitchen knives basically. And it was a great way to help me put myself through college because basically it was a sales job and they paid regardless of whether or not I made any sales. So I got to spend my time hanging out with awesome housewives, showing them this incredible product, and all I had to do was basically read from this manual that they gave me. So in my mind, it was a dead simple position. But what happened without me even being fully aware of it is I was finally, for the first time, able to open up my communication skills and not be so shy and insecure. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that if you're one of those people that has a hard time connecting with other people, and because of that, creating some sort of collaboration or strategic partnership has been very hard for you, I want my story to give you a little bit of confidence because, again, I wasn't some born superstar at speaking. It was just something that I had to exercise, just like a muscle, right? When we go to the gym, the more you strengthen that muscle, the easier it becomes. You definitely want to get into some sort of communication type training. Speaking associations are great for that. You could join a program like Toastmasters or National Speakers Association just to learn how to open yourself up and feel a little bit more comfortable building rapport with others, talking to others, speaking on stages, because I absolutely think that by having that foundation, it's going to set you up for greater success in the area of collaboration. Essentially, in its most simple form, collaboration is just creating and building a relationship with others and helping to create a sort of win-win situation where you're supporting each other's growth. That's all it is. But the beautiful thing about collaboration is you don't feel so isolated because now you have other people that become sort of your friends in this space. And I'm going to get into my story here in just a minute of how I have built collaborations, collaborative efforts, strategic partnerships, how I've created my network essentially, so that you can really get a sense of everything that I did to create my community that's worked so well for me. But I think that one of the biggest strengths, like I mentioned, to collaboration is that you don't have to feel like you're doing so much by yourself. Especially being an online entrepreneur, it can sort of feel like you're on this island by yourself, shouting to the next island in the distance, hoping that somebody can recognize you and see you and hear your message and connect with you. Collaboration makes that effort so much easier and faster because now it's essentially, imagine like having me as a partner on your side and I'm just promoting you like crazy through my network. That is what collaboration and strategic partnerships are all about. So not only does it help with that isolation, but one of the things that I have found about collaboration, what's so awesome about it and just creating my network, is that I get to hear about news and trends more quickly in my industry and related industries. Just because we're sharing information, we're masterminding. I work with these people and I'm asking them what's new in their business, they're asking me what's new in mine, and as a result, I get to really have a pulse on the marketplace and see what programs are being offered, which ones are successful, which ones aren't, what the price points are, what are the new trends on social media. Again, just because I'm creating these relationships and we're sharing that kind of information. So collaborations can be really, really beneficial for that. Another thing, like I mentioned earlier, is that you're going to get your message out there so much more quickly because now your friends are starting to help you promote. Now, this can kind of segue into an affiliate type relationship, which is where, let's say that you would register for free with my affiliate program, and I would give you marketing materials, and you would promote my program through your network, and then I would give you a commission or an affiliate fee if you made any sales. So you can absolutely look at that as a sort of collaborative effort because we're working together toward a common goal. We're supporting each other's growth. I'm paying you, you're referring sales to me. But so yes, it can be an affiliate type relationship, but even what I'm really focusing on today is the kind of relationship where these people become your friends and they want to help promote you because they want to support you. And yes, sure, you can give them a commission. I think that's just a really kind thing to do when somebody's going out of their way to promote you, but it's more about the actual relationship at hand. I mean, it's more about really nurturing that and building that and growing that just as you would with your best friend, let's say. And another benefit to this type of relationship is that it's really going to boost your credibility, and it's going to help you become sort of that go-to authority in your industry because now all of a sudden you're surrounding yourself with very powerful, popular, well-known people. And naturally, that's going to establish and boost your credibility. So that's kind of my little introduction to what collaboration and strategic partnerships really are about, networking. And I want to make this more concrete for you by telling you my story of how I really grew online with this kind of idea in mind, okay? So back in, I think it was 2005, 2006, I connected with somebody in town that was running this event called the Capital Factor. And it was basically teaching people to get money in their business and how to market it online. It was specifically for entrepreneurs. And this was back in 2006, okay? So this is back when, people were just really starting to learn about the online marketplace. Now, the early adopters had already made millions upon millions upon millions online, and here's the beautiful thing, is that those people that were so powerful at the time actually were the speakers at this event, and I was in charge of making sure that the speakers' presentations were in, that we knew what they were selling off of the stage, and as a result, we had a lot of communication back and forth. And I saw that as a phenomenal opportunity. In fact, people like Armin Morin, Jermaine Griggs, Eric Graham, Brendon Burchard was there when he was just publishing. He had just published his first book and was really pushing it and going out in the speaking circuit. So we're talking about some really incredible connections. Alex Mendozian was there. And basically, I just showed up. I was my best self. I was friendly. I was on top of it. Totally my A game. I was organized. I was upbeat. I made life easier for the speakers. And as a result, when you're really on your A game, people notice that because the majority of people out there, unfortunately, are only pretty mediocre at their job performance. I knew that if I just focused on nailing that position, that job where I was managing the speakers, and if I could make sure that all of my speakers were happy and that I was building a relationship with them, I knew that that was all I needed to establish that connection. And from there, it was my responsibility to nurture that relationship so it could grow. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. Out of that event, not only was I working with the speakers, but I was also sending out a lot of the email marketing and connecting with a lot of the people, a lot of the attendees, the sponsors, etc. So sort of like the communication manager, as it were. So out of that event, I ended up striking up strategic partnerships with 2 different companies. They had seen my performance, they had seen how organized I was, how friendly I was, and that I was really good at my job, and so they asked me to come help them with their companies. And I thought this was awesome because now fast forward, we're in 2007, and I had just started my company in G&G Enterprises, and I knew that it was going to take me a long time to build this business naturally, organically, online. I knew that I had to get out there and blog like crazy. I mean, and I knew all of this from this event. I knew nothing about the internet before the Capital Factor, so I was really lucky there. And I started this company and I was building websites for people, but I knew that it was going to take a long time to get that traffic naturally to me so I could sell those services. I started blogging like crazy. I was dabbling in social media. I was trying to figure out product development. And in the meantime, I had now 2 clients. And I call them strategic partnerships because they have their company and I have mine. And I just established a relationship with that person, that company, so they could send me a regular flow of clients. And then I would service their clients, which would help them because now they're making a profit off of the services that I'm fulfilling, and they don't have to do the work. I do the work. So it's really a win-win relationship. And I ended up setting that kind of a relationship up with 2 different companies. One was a publishing company out in California that was doing these multi-author collaboration books, sort of like the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, if that makes sense. Not that specific one, but like that. And then the other one was a web company. So they were helping entrepreneurs get their business online, which was a perfect fit for me because I knew that with the publishing company, they didn't have any services for the authors that were in these books. They essentially just wrote the book and that was it. And I thought, well, what if we could start building websites for these people and helping them build their email list and helping them get on social media and helping them with product development. So I really spent a lot of time nurturing that relationship just by showing up, being my best self, offering the best services, offering suggestions to that company owner on, hey, I noticed that you're not offering these types of services to your company or to your clients. Would you be open to establishing a relationship where I could service your authors? It's literally as simple as that. It's just asking the question, vibing it out, and seeing what happens. Turns out that company was very receptive to that idea. And now I'm still working with that company today. And through that particular company, that's how I was able to work with Lisa Nichols and Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, Bill Walsh, Adam Markell, Sandra Yancey, Fabian Fredrickson, Brendon Burchard. I mean, I knew Brendon from the Capital Factor and we had stayed in touch and we were friends, but we actually got to work on a project together, which was great. So all of that star power, all of those people that had great influence in their own communities, I was now collaborating with through this strategic partnership. That's the value that I'm trying to share with you. Out of this other strategic partnership that I had created, I came in and basically helped service their clients and make sure that their projects were getting completed. And again, I had the time to do this because I knew that it was going to take me a long time to naturally grow my audience base online. So I guess on my free time, I was blogging like crazy, trying to get indexed in Google and increase my search engine ranking. But at least I had this consistent flow of income in the meantime, which was really a good thing to kind of reduce that stress and not make me feel so pressured, wondering where my next client was coming from. So that's also the beauty of having strategic relationships. But with this company, out of that relationship, I worked with that company for, 4 years, I think. And out of that particular company branched off another strategic partnership with a local author university type organization where basically they put on local events constantly. They have an international reach helping authors become seriously successful. They're one of our top clients right now, and we love working with their authors. And what happens in this type of relationship? Well, not only am I helping the main owner with her online presence, but she's referring website clients to me all the time, which is great because it's helping me build my business online. It's getting me to spread my message even further to a whole new marketplace. And I'm helping her by fulfilling a great service that her authors need anyway. So it's really a win-win relationship here again. And out of that particular relationship, I've had tons of new clients, speaking opportunities. I mean, it's been really wonderful. And then from that relationship sprung new relationships. I mean, so that's kind of the power of collaboration and networking, is you just have to get started in one location. For me, it was the Capital Factor, and I was building that relationship and I was just being of service to others, and then that naturally brought business back to me. So if we rewind, back in 2007, I started those 2 strategic partnerships that I told you about. And again, really from those two strategic partnerships sprung new other relationships. But in the meantime, like I mentioned, I was blogging a lot. And out of just offering value to the world, I was approached by a company out in Vancouver who was really growing a huge community of conscious women, basically. And many of them were entrepreneurs looking to get their business online, which was perfect because it was my perfect target audience, right? And they loved the value that I was giving on my blog posts, so they found me naturally because now at this time I had already expanded my reach in Google. My search engine rankings were getting raised because of the power of blogging. And basically, I started servicing their website and their whole online effort to get more exposure and build that company. And as a result, I got access to their entire community, and they started to get to know my face and get to know my name. And then naturally, people are going to go to my website and see what I do. And when they do that, they think, I need somebody to help me build my website, or I need somebody to help me with this next product launch. And they would contact me. Now, the way that I always work these types of relationships is that if somebody told me that they had found out about me through this Vancouver company, I would absolutely give the Vancouver company credit. I would give them a referral fee, let's say. Now, in my company, what I have chosen to do is offer a 10% referral fee up to $200 for the first project. And I do that for anybody and everybody. If you were to refer somebody to me, then I would send you the $200. It's harder to give higher referral fees when you're a service-based business because my margins are pretty tight because I pay my people well. However, if I was pushing a product or a program, something that was more digital, then something like a 50% commission is much more common out there. So I would say look at what services and products that you're offering, and then if somebody refers, a new client to you, then you want to pay that person. It gives them incentive to refer more people to you, and it helps strengthen that relationship even more. So I was working out with that company in Vancouver, still servicing these other strategic partnerships. And at this point, you might be thinking, this is a lot. This is a lot to handle. But here's the thing. It's not like I was getting 50 website leads from each source. It would just sort of trickle in naturally to where sometimes this company A, would be very busy, but then the other company would be a little less busy. So either way, it always felt very consistent to me. If I look back on my financial reports, literally, it's just kind of this steady incline. And as I grew my company, as I was getting more clients, then I just hired more team members to help me manage that workload. But I was never, ever in a situation where I was in all-out panic because I had too much business that I couldn't handle. Or the opposite of that, I was never in an all-out panic because I didn't know where my next paycheck was coming from. It was very, very consistent, and I fully think it's because of this type of mentality that I had in my business. I help service other people and I give them value, and in return they want to give that value to me. Another example of how I created just an awesome relationship literally out of the blue just from servicing one of my clients, and it was this teacher that was trying to build his online presence. He didn't have a lot of starting capital, so I was really helping him build as much as I could for as low a cost as possible. And through that relationship of just believing in that person and letting that relationship build and nurture, no hidden agenda. I just wanted to help. And see, that's kind of the underlying point of this too, is when you just show up in service, amazing things happen. So out of the blue, I got an email from this client introducing me to John Lee Dumas and just saying, John, you have to know Amber. Amber, you have to know John. And out of that simple email, boom, another relationship was born. And I looked at that as an awesome opportunity because if you don't know John Lee Dumas, you need to just Google his name. His podcast and business is Entrepreneur on Fire. He's up to unbelievable things. So John had asked me to be a guest on his podcast, which was awesome. I automatically said yes. And then from there, I actually sent John an invitation to be a part of my Authentic Business Success Summit. And you can learn more about that at authenticbusinesssuccesssummit.com. It was basically a training summit for online entrepreneurs, and I had 15 speakers come in, and we ended up raising almost $15,000 for charity in a 5-week speaker competition. And the training videos are still available today and packed with value. Mindset and business strategies on how to grow your 6, 7, 8-figure online business based from the people who have gone out there and made it happen in a transparent and authentic fashion. So I think you'll love it if you look into it. But I basically sent an email to John asking him if he wanted to be a part of this summit. Now, here's one of my biggest tips for you. When you are building and nurturing this relationship, you may not know when you want to ask for somebody's support in a venture that you are doing. I always wait until I know it's something that's a surefire winner, that's going to benefit the other person, that's going to be a win-win opportunity. And when I was doing this summit, I thought, wow, this is a win-win opportunity. John is going to get tons of new exposure and new markets that don't even know his name yet. And I'm going to get the opportunity to work with John, and he's going to tell his network about the event. So it just became this awesome win-win conversation. But especially since I hadn't known John for very long, you can't just go right up and say, hey, will you do me a favor? That's not the way relationships work, especially online. You have to build and nurture that relationship, support that person's growth, and sort of prove yourself that it's not just about sales to you. You're not a greedy person, but you're in this, it's mutually beneficial. And so what I ended up doing was I really tried to promote John as much as possible in the beginning, but then because I knew I didn't fully have that relationship established, I couldn't just send him an email asking him to get on board for the summit. What I ended up doing was I recorded a video just like I'm doing here with you now, and I just said, hey John, so honored to get to know you. I love what you're up to in the online space, and I'm starting this amazing opportunity to run this summit. Wanted to tell you about it in the next few minutes and see if you'd be willing to participate. So then I went through and I told him all of the details of the summit and how it's all centered around charity and why I was so passionate about this event, why I chose him out of everybody I know, and then asked if he would be willing to be a speaker, if he could get on board, and if so, send me an email saying yes, and I'll send him the next steps. And it was literally a 5-minute video, but the beautiful thing why I chose to do a video is because you can really see somebody's passion and enthusiasm and sincerity and transparency through video. It could have happened that way over email. And John just loved that idea. And I'm telling you this because we've actually publicly spoken about this on his podcast. So I would never, I'm a very private person. I respect people's privacy, which is why I haven't been name dropping a whole lot on this video unless I know it's going to be appropriate or okay. And so that's a great takeaway for you. If you have somebody that you really want to strike up a collaborative effort with, then maybe send them a video and a video invite requesting that they get on board. And it's going to be a totally different tone than if you just send an email saying, hey, can you help me become a bestseller? Can you help me achieve a $10,000 launch or whatever it is? Out of that relationship with John, where I did his podcast, he did my summit, amazing things started happening. All of a sudden, I started getting tons of requests to be on podcasts from people in John's networks. And what I was seeing was that these people didn't have a really solid website or online presence. So I asked John if he had anybody in his network that could service his community, which was growing like crazy. I mean, John is having 500,000 unique downloads every month to his podcast. He's sold $500,000 in 6 months to his Podcasters Paradise membership. I mean, he's doing some huge things. I saw an opportunity and I just reached out. That's all you have to do. And I did it in a way not like, hey, I'm trying to get more leads and sales, because it wasn't about that. I saw an opportunity that he might, need some support in this area. His audience might need support in this area. So it's out of service. It's out of a desire to help. Yes, naturally, it's a win-win opportunity, but if you approach this kind of conversation or relationship literally seeing the opportunity and wanting to be of service, it changes everything. It just opens up the relationship in such a genuine, authentic way. And that's how I always do business. So I really developed that kind of a reputation. And John loved the idea. And then I met him at Social Media Marketing World, which is this conference in the spring of 2014. And out of that event, because I had already been really nurturing that relationship, I found myself being in opportunities that I never could have imagined otherwise. Masterminding with Pat Flynn and Greg Hickman and Rick Mulready and John Lee Dumas sitting there on his balcony watching the sunset, and connecting with Lewis Hose, and just really feeling like I got the most special opportunity in the world because I showed up, I was of service, I helped everybody there as much as I could. And I really came from a genuine place. It was not out of a place of needing things from others. So you have to get really clear on your mindset. What's your intention? And again, because you don't have the wrong intention here, it becomes so much easier to just naturally let the relationship build and naturally ask for what you want when the time comes. That's why you don't have to be the world's best speaker. You don't have to have the world's best communication skills. You just have to be fully authentically you, and you're naturally going to attract the right people to you that's going to help support your business growth, as long as you show up for the situation and you're present, you're open to opportunity, and you're just kind of taking it in stride, seeing where all of this is going to lead you. And that's what I did. And that's really the center of how I was able to grow my business by, it's on average 40% every single year, naturally. I've never had to feel stress about it. And it's just looking for how I can service the clients of other companies, and how can I help support other people's launches, and then in turn, how can they support mine? So I know that we're winding down here on time, and I just want to give you a few last tips on how to really open up yourself to the opportunity of collaboration and how to get strategic partnerships and the power of networking. One thing I want to share in terms of a key to success is to attend live events. That's really important, and making that face-to-face connection. I'm right now attending probably about 4 conferences a year, the ones that I think are really, really going to make a huge impact. Social Media Marketing World is an excellent one. Brendon Burchard's association event, you're going to have to Google that. Experts Industry Association, phenomenal event. And then 2 more depending on what comes up. And from those events, you don't go to your hotel room at 7 or 8 o'clock at night and go to sleep. You stay up late, and you just create relationships that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise. Say yes to opportunity. When somebody invites you to dinner, go. See where it's going to lead you. Just kind of be free and kind of blowing in the wind, as it were, when you're at a live event, and see where these connections will take you. And then after the event, people might contact you for interviews or to get on the phone to learn more about each other. Say yes. See where that invitation leads. The kinder you are to others, the more supportive you are for others and helping them achieve their goals, the better. You also, as a second key, want to have the right mindset. Again, what do I want to get out of this live event, or what do I want to get out of this connection? Well, I really want to serve that person. I want to help them establish a better presence online, or I want to help that person by connecting them with my friend who could interview this person on a podcast or in a TV show, or sharing resources and leads. Or if somebody comes out like Ken MacArthur, who's one of the top 20 most influential people online, he came out with a manifesto called the Impact Manifesto, and I wanted to develop a better relationship with Ken. So I started promoting his manifesto all over the place. It was phenomenal, by the way. And out of that relationship, I asked Ken if he wanted to be a part of the Authentic Business Success Summit. From there, he said yes, then asked me to be a panel speaker on his final JV Alert event, where I said yes. And now there's just this back and forth, win-win relationship because we're supporting each other. So you have to have the right mindset going into it. Again, you want to say yes to opportunity. Don't be afraid to ask somebody for help, and to really ask, how can I be of service to you? I think that that's a really important one too. Make sure that you know, or that you're presenting the information so it's about them, not about you. Again, I never reached out to somebody saying, here's how you can help me. It's more of, hey, I'm running this event and here's how it can help you, and then really getting deep with all of the different ways it's going to benefit that person, and then ask them if they would like to participate. I think that's really important. And another key to success I want to give you is that if somebody says, yes, I want to participate in your event or your product launch or whatever it is, make sure that you make it really easy for that person to get involved. I provide all of the marketing materials, all of the instructions, so there's never even a question in that person's mind as to what's happening next or what I need to do. If you don't tell people what to do, they're not going to do anything. So especially during a product launch, let's say, I give them all the sample emails so that they can literally copy and paste it and send it. They don't have to do anything else. And I'm really trying to emulate that person's voice and tone to make it even easier for them. The more work you can do for somebody when you're asking for a favor, the better. If you're interviewing somebody on a podcast, don't waste their time. Say, here are the questions, here's when you need to show up, the rest is handled. Making it really easy. And those are my top tips for you on how to collaborate and create strategic partnerships and network. If you have any other questions, please ask them to me. Leave a comment below. Let me know your top takeaway and what your biggest concern is when it comes to collaboration and networking. I'm happy to give you some extra value by replying and giving you that comment that's going to be of service to you. I would love for you to help me share this video on social media just so that I can impact more people with this message. And until I see you on the next episode of this Authentic Leader TV, I want to thank you so much for your time and your participation and your support. Thanks a lot.